All right, guys, welcome back to another super exciting episode of the Impossible Moments mini-series podcast. These are guests that we've recently come into contact with that I'm just so excited to share their story with you guys because they are doing really exactly what we all dream of doing, having the freedom to travel, to be able to work abroad, to be able to be successful on Skool in unique ways. And I know they're very good with affiliate marketing. They're very good with their community and very good with traveling. They are coming from Massachusetts today, but they've come from Canada recently or are headed to Guatemala, I think tomorrow, they said. So guys, without further ado, I want to introduce you to Harold and Skyla Faulkner. Thank you guys for being here today.
Hi.
Thank you for having
Thank you for having us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to talk about first I want to talk a little bit about Skool. Your guys' community is called Unemployed Abroad. For anybody listening, if you want to scroll down to the show notes, there is the top link in that description will be for their community. You can jump in and join today. Your guys' community is free at the moment, correct?
Correct.
Free to join. So yeah, you can jump in there for free, check out what they're doing. And I think they're teaching you guys to do exactly just that, how to be unemployed abroad. So what's your guys' philosophy behind the Skool community? What inspired you to start it and to be able to demonstrate this lifestyle for everybody?
Got you. So basically, like everyone has had before, we've had jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and we'd be, dependent on where we were living and how much you were making, depending on how much time you were trading. And we wanted to break that system. We wanted to break it to where we're no longer trading our time for money and we don't have to be location dependent. So we learned about affiliate marketing and monthly recurring revenue, and we built that up pretty fast. And all it takes is about $1,000 to $2,000 US a month, and you can travel the entire globe with that alone. So
that's not a lot of money for, like, most Americans would think you've got to have tens of thousands of dollars to travel the globe.
Right.
So I want to kind of dive into a couple strategies here. First is how you got into Skool and developing your affiliate marketing style, and then building your monthly recurring revenue to bring in that revenue to be able to spend on the travel. But then second, I'd love to transition how you guys are able to travel on a budget like that, because I think that's something that would be really eye-opening for a lot of people and really help them discover the potential of what's out there. So in Skool, what really got you guys started, and how did you find your kind of first ability to make real money on Skool? Because I think there's a lot of people right now who are struggling and feel like they've been at it for months and months and months, and they feel like they're just not generating any revenue whatsoever. So what would be some advice you give to those people?
Yeah, so if you come to the Skool platform and you're wanting to make money online, you need to start selling things. You need to start monetizing right away. A lot of people, what they do is they say, oh, well, I'm going to create this community and I'm going to make it, really homey. Anybody can join. I'm not going to be salesy. And they have a whole bunch of people in their community, and then they're stuck because they're like, I've convinced all of these members that this is just a community for fun, and now I want to make money off of it. Now I don't feel comfortable selling to them. You need to build a brand where people know, like, hey, you're going to be sold things. There's going to be digital products. There's going to be coaching offered, but it's all going to be things that can benefit you. So if you want to make money, start giving value for sale. Like start charging right away.
Yeah. Basically, we started ours just actual in-person sales. Like, I would go to work and he would go walk to the grocery store, to gas stations. Co-workers were like, hey, anyone want to join? Like, we're starting this business. We had a logo. We started just anything. You just have to start. A lot of people get scared to take that risk, but you have to start from nowhere and work your way up, give it value and everything.
That's awesome. And I love that you guys have that sales background too. We'll definitely dive into that, because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with on Skool, as well as the concept of sales, and mostly the fear of it is, I think, what a lot of people struggle with. And I agree with you guys 100%. There's so many strategies to how to start a Skool community, right? Some people think, I'm going to make it totally free, and then once I get to X amount of members, then I'll charge, and then once I get to the next X, then I'll charge a higher and higher and higher. And I'm sure for some people that works, but I think there's always this concept in business that I learned several years ago, in that you teach people your value. And we kind of decide how others see that in us based on how we see that in ourselves. And so like you brought up, Harold, if we start this community for free and make it this free homey space that we welcome everybody in, and we're not really like targeting the niche of what we're here to do, then people expect things to be free from us. And the second we start charging for something, I think a lot of people already have that innate belief built up that, oh, this is weird, it was always free and now you're charging for it. And really the thing is so much of money and so much of value can be a relative perception a lot of times. So, there's some communities out there that are close to $10,000 a month to join. I think the limit is like $9,999 on Skool, and that would have to contain tremendous value to be worth that much, or you're just targeting a very specific niche of people that is not an totally obscene amount of money to them. So there's a lot of nuance and play to it. That's one thing I've always felt with our communities. I've always been relatively fairly high dollar on the value of it, because I believe that that's the value it truly contains. I looked at my pricing tiers because we have a tiered setup. And I said, what would I pay for this kind of service that I know I will provide? And not only like what I can afford, but what, say money was unlimited, what would I truthfully pay for this service? Because another thing I think we can't do is we can't price with our own wallet. We can't price based on what we afford. We price based on who we're looking to serve can afford. I think that's another big piece. So yeah, talk to me. How did you guys start first making money on Skool? I know you talked about the sales, getting people to join, and I know your community is free right now. So what's your strategy for just generating revenue right now?
So we actually use our community as a funnel. So at first, when we started making money, like I said, we both had like 9-to-5 jobs. She worked at an IHOP. I worked at a Golden Stick fried chicken place.
Oh yeah, man. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
After work, or before work on our days off, I'd walk all around the town, the Walmarts, everything. And I'd try to find people that just looked approachable. And I'd walk up to them and I'd say, hey, I want to show you something. Look at this. And then I'd show them the community of other people that are successful. For example, like, you see that like ping pong guy or whoever he is on the front cover of Skool. And I'd say, look how many members, look how much he's charging a month. Like, look at like all the money that these people are making. And then I'd show our community, and we've already had some family and friends, like as a backbone, kind of join to get us to like 100, 200 a month. And we were showing them, and I was like, look, and we're making $200 a month. They're like, what are you doing? And I was like, it's basically like a paid group chat. They just pay to be a part of it. And I'll teach you how to build that yourself for a one-time payment. And then you get on our monthly. So they would pay a one-time payment. They'd get on our monthly. And then we would create their account, and they would use our link. So then we'd get their affiliate. So one customer would get us 3 forms of income: one down payment, one affiliate, and one MRR.
What's up, guys? It's Matt. I hope you are enjoying this powerful episode on the Impossible Podcast. If you like what's happening on this episode, I was hoping I could get 30 seconds of your time to tell you about an opportunity we have for you to dive deeper into this conversation off the camera. We have built an online community on Skool.com where we dive deep into these lessons we learn on the Impossible Podcast, as well as help you integrate the lessons we teach with Impossible Performance into your own life. This is a space where you can have powerful discussions, expand beyond topics that we talk about on the episode, and most powerfully, it helps you to take control of the narrative you have for your life and write a new story for yourself about who you are. We have courses built in on how to leverage all 4 domains of performance, as well as a lot of the integrative teachings that we provide in Impossible Performance. We do monthly group calls where we all hop on and chat about a subject and how it's reflected in our own lives and how we can learn and grow from each other. This is a powerful new space on the cutting edge of what it's going to be able to offer, but it stands apart from any other social media or online community because of its ability to generate and foster true, authentic human connection, which is what we're all about at Impossible Performance. So if you guys want to join us and dive deeper into these discussions, into what we do at Impossible Performance, and equip yourself to be able to face any impossible challenge or achieve any impossible goal in your own life, we hope to see you there. Use the link skool.com/impossible or click the top link in the show notes. Thank you guys for being a part of what we do. Thank you for always being impossible. Now let's get back to the episode.
That is awesome, man. That's really powerful when you can create those multiple revenue streams from one lead and one customer. That's a really intelligent design. So you've got the free community, and it funnels to. Does it funnel to a third party platform then, or is it just your basically separate coaching business?
So when people try to join the community, it asks two questions. It says, where are you currently living, and are you interested in one-on-one support? And that's the funnel. Because if you say, oh, I'm currently living in the United States, I know you get paid in US dollar, you're a potential one-on-one client. Let's say you say, I'm in India, I know you get paid in rupees, your money isn't worth anything, I'm not going to waste my time and get on a sales call with you. Right? So that's the funnel of who I know who to talk to. And if you're, you could have a strong currency, but you're not interested, so I'm not going to bother. Right? So what that funnel does is it leads us to say, all right, you're in the community for free. And within the community, when you joined, we have testimonials all throughout it. So for free, you can join, see testimonials, see other people succeeding, other people's winning. We post a lot of screenshots of money that we've made. We've made over $20,000 with the community so far. We post it all where people could see. And we could see, I was literally at a fried chicken job. She was literally at a pancake job.
Yeah.
It's so easy and so possible to do this. You just have to show up and try every day. Would you be interested in get on a call? We get them on a call, and then I kick them out of the community. I set up a one-time payment or a monthly for them. They join, and then I switch it back to free.
I see. Okay. So you're leveraging basically the pricing changes that we in the structures we can do on Skool. I've done the same thing myself, and I do wish Skool had a little bit better of a system for this, where you could offer individual people individual prices. Hopefully that's coming down the road. But I've done the same thing where I'll tell somebody, hey, I really like what you're doing, I really want to help you, I'll give you 50% off. I go into pricing, drop that price down, they join, and then I increase it. So yeah, that's an intelligent design. If you guys haven't done that in your own community, it is something you can leverage. Like I say, hopefully someday we'll have something where we can do more of that individual based pricing. But I really like how you're doing that. So you do a lot of one-on-one client work that, like he said, they bring them in for free, and it's the funnel into the community. Then they target who is their one-on-one client. And I want to hop back to that really quick, because you talked about you target that basically on where do they live and what is their money worth. And that's not an insensitive piece. You just know exactly who you're trying to serve. And I want to highlight that for people, because I think some people get really afraid of sales because they don't want to appear insensitive or not nice, or they don't want to appear salesman-y. But sales is a skill, and you've got to know who you're targeting, who do you really want to serve, and you give your very best to those people. And I think that's the best way that we can show up for sales. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
I would say when people say they don't want to sound salesy, it's because they don't understand what sales is, right? Sales is not solving other people's problem. Sales is figuring out what their problem is, making it your own, and solving it together. So let's say your problem is you want to make $500 in passive income. Now I'm going to make that my problem. Matter of fact, that was my problem. I know the exact route that we can take to do that. For example, everyone wants to use the fastest, easiest way to make money online. And that doesn't mean they're lazy. It means they're smart, right? You don't want to work hard for something. You really don't. If I say, hey, there's an energy drink, and then you can crawl on a bed of broken glass, or you can walk around it and get it. Well, I want to walk on the broken glass. Being tough and working hard doesn't necessarily mean that you're being the most efficient. If you can walk around and take an easy path, do it, right? And with Skoolers, if you get someone to sign up for a $99 a month account, the pro plan, you get $39.60. All it takes is 25 people to sign up, and you're making $1,000 in passive income. And that's enough to travel the world. Then you're traveling the world. People are seeing what you're doing. They're like, I want to do the same. And then the funnel just keeps building up. You're getting one-time payments, MRR, and affiliates. One-time MRR and affiliates. And so the longer you're in the game, the more you get paid.
Yeah. That's a powerful structure, man. And I'm glad that you laid it out that way for people too. And it's good to have those multiple revenue streams, because, you may have one month where affiliates go down a little bit, or you may have another month where one-on-ones go down a little bit, and so by having those multiple streams, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're not only guaranteeing through this one mechanism, and you keep that money flowing, because one may go down, the other may go up. Do you guys ever see a lot of fluctuation time to time, or is it something that stays pretty steady with the affiliate marketing?
Honestly, I would say when we are back in the States or like visiting family for even like 5 days, it's always so slow. But the second we start traveling, like the second we left visiting family, came up north, traveled Cape Cod, traveled Maine, Canada, everyone's hitting us up again. One-on-ones are going up, affiliates are growing, everything. So just when we stay in our travel routine is like our prime, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is good for us because that's what we love to do anyway.
Yeah. No, I love it. And that's exciting too, because I think that's what people get excited to see, especially in America. So many of us dream of travel, but we view it as this like inaccessible thing, or maybe we'll save up all this money and do it like once or twice in our lifetime. And it's been so cool to meet people like you, and I'm sure you guys know Dina at this point, who are doing this kind of digital nomad, unemployed abroad thing, where you give direct example of like, hey, you can go travel the world right now. You don't need nearly as much money as you think you do. And in fact, that money can be pretty easy to make, and we can show you how to do it. And you can live the same dream we're living, and you can post pictures from Guatemala or Cape Cod or wherever you are, and people see you in different places all the time. They're like, you can't contend with that kind of proof. They're like, this is proof of concept. I want to jump in and learn it. And that's what I think is really powerful about your guys' style and what you offer. So I want to shift a little bit to talking about the travel side of things. Do you guys have like do you set up plans in advance of where you want to go, or do you keep it kind of just on the fly? You decide, pretty short term out where you want to head at any given time? And particularly, what are some of your biggest strategies for making travel affordable and accessible for people?
Right. So I always think if you put yourself in a mindset of like, oh, I need a budget, I need it to be affordable, you're not thinking in abundance. You need to think, how can I afford it in the most luxurious way possible? And it'll all work out. So we don't come up with a budget. We just figure out like, oh, okay, we want to stay in this hotel. It's $100 a night. Let's just go ahead and land a sale. And so we don't have any budget whatsoever, not frugal with our money. Spend it the moment it comes in practically.
Yeah.
And for travel, so we just did 3 months in Vietnam not that long ago.
Oh, wow.
So you want to pick countries that are not going to scam you, right? Because in some places you don't need to have a budget. If you're in the United States, you're in Canada, probably a lot of places in Europe or the UK, you're going to want a budget because things are super, super expensive. You can't live a full life of luxury with how expensive things are unless you're making, $15,000-$20,000 a month. And even then, you're still going to be having issues. Yeah. So we pick countries that are, you could live a full life without having to budget or even worry about money just because the cost of living there is so low, like Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines. There's a lot of beautiful, awesome countries that you could see. And something we're actually working on right now is in 7 months before 2027, we're visiting all 7 continents.
Yeah.
We're doing a full world tour, which is going to be 25 countries from the United States all the way across. And the way that we're going to do it is all through Skool income, because all it takes is about $2,500 to $3,000 a month, and you can literally see all 7 continents. You can travel the world. You could, stay in nice hotels and eat out every single night, or you can use that same money and barely pay for rent in the United States. So it's like you choose. What do you want with your life? You want to make $4K, spend $3,000 of it on an apartment in the U.S., or do you want to make, $2K and travel the entire globe remotely?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, guys. Yeah, that's going to be an insane trip. Where are you guys staying in Antarctica, just out of curiosity? Are there places to stay down there?
Well, okay, that you have to do by cruise is like the only way to get there. And actually, that's why we're doing it last. So we're going to go finish our North America travel. Guatemala will be our first country, then go South America to Africa to Europe, back to Asia, and then Australia to Argentina or Chile is the only place you can get to Antarctica from by cruise, and it's like 5 or 8 days you can do. You can't bring any outside clothes or shoes because you literally have to have hazmat suits because they don't want anything. Even if you bring like a brand new pair of Nikes, they're like, nope, you can't take that since it's like a scientific study. But yeah, you stay on ship, maybe touch down once or twice on land, and that's about all I would say.
It's about $8,000 a person.
Yeah.
Wow. Just for that trip to
Just for that
Antarctica.
That's for Antarctica, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, that's all. But I bet less than 1% of the world's population can even say, probably even way less than that can say they've even stepped foot on Antarctica.
I know.
And so to be able to just have that as a life experience is something unforgettable. And I really like that concept you guys brought up about think in abundance, not in terms of budget necessarily, where you don't focus on how do we reduce spending? How do we save money as much as possible? You think, oh, this hotel costs $100. Let me go make $100.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mindset a lot of us, particularly in America, have lost because we've been so ingrained in this, you give me an hour of your time and I'll give you $15 kind of mindset. And it's just, it's insane. It's insane is what it is, and I understand like how we got to this point, looking back, I can see it, but I'm so excited that there are now platforms like Skool that are helping people break free of this kind of mindset, this kind of culture, because there is so much more out there. And we have the ability to earning is a skill, just like being able to, work at IHOP or work at the chicken place. You can learn skills. You can learn skills, and some skills are more valuable than others. And when you serve others with higher dollar skills, you make more money and you can be in more control of that revenue you bring in. So I really like how you guys think from that place of abundance. How can I make this money to do the things that I dream of? Not how do I limit myself so that I can stay within the means of what's safe.
Yeah.
I also think there's a point that we don't always recognize as Americans. And we talked about how we think of travel as being so expensive. I think we think that rent in Guatemala is basically just as much as it is in America. What does some of the what does some of the price differences look like between like a luxury hotel in America versus a luxury hotel in like Guatemala or Thailand or some of what you guys have seen?
So you can, when we were in Vietnam, there's a beautiful, beautiful penthouse. You can see it on our YouTube channel as well, Unemployed Abroad. Beachfront, absolutely beautiful. You have a butler that comes up, house service, everything that a normal place would have that you'd spend at least $8,000 a month for in the United States. This is top of the line. There's cheaper options available, but this is top of the line. $650 a month.
Dude, that's wild, because we stay in like a downtown hotel in any city and you're going to pay more than that for one night of a regular hotel room, in America. And so I think our inflated concept of money, we've never been shown how to get outside of that before. And I think that's powerful for what you guys offer and what you're able to offer within your community. So what, I know you guys like started and you were working in IHOP and Harold, you said you're working at a chicken shop.
Yeah.
What gave you guys the initial dream to want to pursue this? What made you say, you know what, I don't have to do this anymore. I can go out and I can earn more, I can achieve more. And actually not even just the dream, but like what gave you the passion, the perseverance to actually follow through with it? Because I think a lot of people in America as well fear travel to a foreign country. And it's a big thing that would hold a lot of people back. How did you guys work through that and just totally have faith and trust in yourself to dive into it?
So for my story personally, I was like a professional job hopper. I've had more than like 30, 40 9-to-5 jobs at 25 years old.
Wow.
Because I would get hired 2 days in, just something would be screaming at me like, and I would just like run out the back door and I'd quit. And then I'd realize I didn't have any more money or whatever because I'm not doing anything with my life. And then I'd, get another job, and the same cycle would repeat over and over again. And that all started when I was 16. Like as soon as I was able to work legally, I started doing this. But right before that, I was knocking door to door, mowing lawns. There's even a story when I was like 11, 12 years old. I would knock on door to door, and I went on YouTube. I learned how to head spin, and then I'd knock door to
Wow.
door with a slab of cardboard, and I'd say, "Hey, what's going on? If you give me 10 minutes, or if you give me 10 minutes of your time and $20, I'll head spin right here in your front yard." No, door to door head spinning.
That is awesome, man.
I've always had like a crazy sense of
Yeah.
like entrepreneurship. And then I thought, oh, well, I'd make more money consistently. It's more safe, more secure, get a 9 to 5. You just fall into that trap like everybody else does. And I was fortunate enough to break free of it. And I had my own apartment and everything like that. And like, so it was good, like a decent 9 to 5 job. And I threw it all away. I broke my lease. I left my apartment and I started to look for a website called like coolworks.com. And that's where you could find seasonal jobs. You can work in like cool places of the world, like Tennessee, West Virginia, Colorado, wherever. And you can get a job like at a ski resort. They give you a place to live and they give you money. So that was like my first kind of bridge into being able to travel and still earn money. And that's actually where we met.
Seasonal jobs.
Seasonal jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And as we were talking, we were like, man, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I wish we could just travel full time. And I was just doing a deep dive and trying to figure out how. We found like volunteer stuff like Workaway, World Packers, but you didn't get paid and you're still time for money until we discovered Skool. We didn't even know about Skool for more than about 48 hours. We signed up, created an account, and before our free trial was over, we made $500.
Yeah.
We're like, this is it. This is it.
And then left and went to Vietnam with $500 to our name.
Yeah, we weren't even
90
making
day visa.
we weren't even making money consistently yet when we went to Vietnam. We just knew it would work out, just trusting the process and everything would work out. And I'll never forget, I was on that rooftop, that condo that I was telling you about, looking at the beach and the water, and I got on a sales call and the dude sent $500. Then I got $39.60 for affiliate and then $250 a month. And I was like, wow, this is really great. And it happened twice that same night. And I was like, okay, if we're making $1,000 a day and we can find a funnel where that works consistently, we can make $30,000 months, travel the world on a budget of where you only need to spend $2,000 a month because you're staying in beautiful countries that if you're spending more than $2,000 a month, you just got a problem because it's impossible. Nothing you can buy will ever make that much money disappear. And that's just a code. It's a beautiful life. And I hated my life so much working at a fried chicken job. She was miserable at IHOP. And our goal is to find that person that's working at GameStop and be like, stop it. You don't have to do that no more.
Yeah.
Get them onto
Oh,
affiliates, get them some MRR, and then go to Jamaica, guy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love that. I love that story. I love that testament. And it is something I think so many Americans like yearn for right now, especially younger people who are in those jobs, like you said, GameStop, where a lot of times those people don't have a lot of tie down either. Like you may not have a family yet. You probably haven't bought a house yet, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's not things like necessarily tying you to America. And if you've got this opportunity, you can go leap and explore. Like you guys said, you had the faith in yourselves to take $500 and go to Vietnam and see what
Yeah.
And I think we're taught to not appreciate the true value of what we can make happen with our time. When we lose all of our time to a 40-hour, now oftentimes 50, 60-hour a week job, we lose so much earning potential in the time we give up for far less than we could make otherwise. And when you leave and go, you only have $500 to your name, but you have all of your time. And if you work constantly at that to try to bring in those one-on-ones, bring in those affiliates, bring in everything you were bringing in, it's like you can start getting those client calls rolling in. You can start getting that money coming in. And I think a lot of people would be amazed, kind of like what it sounds like you guys got to see, is that you can work less and earn more.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what everybody's about. How do we increase that dollar per time unit as much as possible? And I think that's just a really powerful testament for anybody who's in that phase of your life where you don't have a lot of tie down, but you have these dreams and these hopes for who you can become and what you can earn. I think this is a great place to start. So we've talked about how you guys basically set up and run your school community. We've talked about some of those travel strategies. How do you guys get people basically, because you use the school community as a funnel, how do you go out and get outreach to new potential clients? Because that's another thing I hear a lot of school owners say they struggle with, is they try to like DM people, or they try to like meet people in other groups. Where do you guys bring in most of your like potential clients? Where do you meet them, and how do you funnel them to that school community so that they can then be funneled to your paid services?
So what you need to do is you need to find the whale. That's what we call it in sales, right? Somebody that wants to do a high ticket purchase, wants to actually have the one-on-one coaching, not just be on a small affiliate or give you $3.06 a month with their own school community. You need to find the whale, because the way that we would do that is we're active in many school communities, many school communities, and you need to buy monthly subscription to be a part of people who have paid before, right? Because if I'm in a group that has 50,000 people in it, but it's a free group, that means 50,000 people never once pulled out their credit card. Is that really where you're going to go whale hunting? Or are you going to pay $50 a month, $70 a month to be a part of a group with 2,000 people in front of it, and 2,000 people already paid $50 before for some self-improvement thing? Like, there's a lot of gurus like Hamza and Alex Ramosi. There's a lot of these people who they're just so famous, they have so much money, they don't have time to help you, especially if you only paid 50 or $100. I'll give you some resources, but they're practically the same as free stuff in other communities. You find these people, you message them, and then you ghost them for a little bit. That's what we do. So I'll send them a message. I'll be like, hey man, how you doing? Are you free? And then like, don't even finish my sentence. And I'll send a message anyway. And they'll be like, what the heck? And then they'll look at our socials. They'll see we're traveling, doing the world, everything that. I'll wait until they're free again. They'll say, my bad, I didn't know the message sent. You free to jump on a call right now?
Yeah.
And you get them on a call. You literally show them the background. We're currently in Vietnam right now. Check it out. We just got a $500 payment. What are you doing? I'm at GameStop. Why? I still got 3 hours left. And we're like, bro, get out of there. We share our story about the IHOP and the chicken. We show how we're making money. We say how they could do the same thing too. And we say, if you don't at least make your investment back within 30 to 60 days, we'll give you all your money back because you're not trying hard enough. Like 25 signups, you make $1,000 passively. Like, it's crazy to think. There's 8 billion people in the world. You can't connect with 25 people and make 1,000 passively. It's ridiculous. Yes, you can.
Yeah, man, I love that. And what I really love about that is you are basically using the life you live as the direct reflection, as the sales pitch. Like, you're not even having to convince people to buy something, because you're just showing direct proof of concept of what you guys can help them achieve. And that's something powerful that I try to do with my own school community. You know, I'm not necessarily travel focused or travel based in what we teach on our school community, but the focus on building the individual first, the individual that then builds the outcomes. I try to lead with that example every single day, and I try to demonstrate that to the community and to the outside communities I'm part of. But there were several good points you brought up there. The first one I want to highlight for people is you've got to find the ideal client. And that's not just what are they interested in, but that's what are they willing to pay. And that's a great point you brought up. I want to bring that up again for people, because trying to sell to people who are only in free communities, like you said, they've never pulled out that credit card before. They're afraid of spending. And that's, that's their prerogative, but it's not worth our time investment to target those people who are afraid to spend. Why would we not put the same amount of investment in people who have clearly spent, and spent well in the past, but maybe they're just not getting what they need out of it. And then that shows that, hey, this person's willing to spend. I know I can help them. And then you get on that call and you show them literally, like, right now, you can hop on this call and you were in some foreign exotic country with a beautiful background. That's gonna appeal powerfully to people. And I want people to understand that are listening to this, you don't necessarily have to be in an exotic foreign country to display whatever it is you're selling in your community. You just have to be the person that you have to live the lifestyle that you're trying to sell, and you have to serve that person as if they were yourself. That is something you brought up earlier. You don't solve their problems, you solve that problem as if it were your own. And that increases so much more passion and dedication to that challenge you're solving for them. And it's going to make it feel more personal to the client as well. So just to give people an idea too, because I think this is something else that people struggle with understanding. How many, let me think of the right way to ask this. Like how many people would you say you reach out to as kind of a cold call client each day?
Got you. When we first started, I was messaging about 750 people a day. Like so desperate, so hungry. I'd go ahead.
Oh
Yeah.
God. So on Skool you can, I think they might have changed it by now, but it used to be only 10 messages like a week you could send. Then we would max that out. We would max out Instagram,
Which is 200
200,
a day.
Facebook,
200 a day.
200 again, to the point we actually got banned on our Unemployed Abroad Instagram and Facebook, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're out in Vietnam, we're only on like day 50 out of 90. Like we were worried because we're like, that's our source. But then really, once you slow down with the messages, it kind of just comes naturally. You'll meet other people on the Skool website, connect with members from their group, connect with them, build relationships and trust, and it just grows itself.
And
Yeah.
that's also when we weren't whale hunting. We were just getting any small fish you could get.
Yeah.
Like there is a quote, and it says, the only thing worse than trying to sell a $1,000 product to somebody who only has $100 is trying to sell a $100 product to somebody that was ready to spend $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you could 10x your return just by pitching a higher sale, but not so high it's ridiculous. Whenever your training or your one-on-one coaching is 5K, 10K, good luck finding that, megalodon, right?
Yeah.
But if you have, it's, decent, right? Like we charge $997 and we offer a 2-piece payment plan, which isn't crazy. The average person could fork over 500 then 500 and be okay, right? And back when we first started, I was selling $9 product.
Yeah.
To make $1,000 a month when you're selling something that's $1,000 versus something that's $9 is just a world of difference. So you can talk to the same amount of people and you'll find the whale. But the thing is, they're not a real whale. So you don't know what they have until you talk to them. So the best thing I can give for any business owner, any Skool community owner that wants to monetize their community is find out what you're worth and sell it for what it's worth. Don't cheapen out because you think, oh, well, nobody will buy this. And then, don't get all greedy and be like, well, somebody will fall for this. Just find out what it's worth, sell it for what it's worth. And, TTMP, talk to more people, talk to as many people as you can every single day that you think may be qualified. Set up a funnel where you can figure out what currency they get paid in. And then if they're like, this happens every day. Somebody from like Bulgaria would join to say they want one-on-one support. I'm like, Bulgaria, what is that? I'll Google, what is the average income in US dollars monthly in Bulgaria? And then I'm like, okay, they make 1,000 US, for example. I don't know if he'll be able to afford this, but I'll still pitch it to him anyway, because that's better than 300 a month or 200.
Yeah. Oh man, I want everybody to go back and listen to that section you just said again, because the first thing you said is you were messaging 750 people a day. Now you've enhanced and really optimized that now, which is good. That's what we should do. But I need people to recognize that. How many of you watching this right now can honestly say you've messaged 750 people since the entirety of time you've been on Skool? I don't know if anybody can. I don't think I can say that. I'm very confident I cannot say that. And that's the thing I think we've got to realize. We've got to change our perception of what true, not just work, but like what true reach actually looks like. This is something Alex Hormozy talks a lot about in his book is, if you have to set the number to where you do so much volume that you couldn't possibly fail. And that's where you have to start, where if you message 750 people a day, you are going to find somebody to sell something to. And if you don't, then maybe you do go back and look at your product. But I can't imagine that if you message that many people a day, you don't get at least a good collection of leads that then you can convert into clients. And from there, like you said, you start optimizing and figuring out, well, how do we target the bigger whales, the people who are more of a sure thing and will pay a higher dollar value, so that you don't have to send 750 messages a day. Maybe you can send 75 messages a day, but convert bigger clients, ultimately making more money with less time and energy. But I wanted to highlight that for people so that we just all understand, like, this is the standard. If you think if you're feeling like disheartened because you're messaging 2 people a day and you're not making sales, maybe you need to look at the volume you're doing, because it's going to be hard to message only 2 people a day and make consistent sales. We need to look at how many are we truly offering to, and then start doing more and more and more until you start getting some level of a conversion rate. And once you've got a conversion rate, then you can optimize that conversion rate. So, man, I really love, I had no idea, by the way, for anybody listening, I had no idea how many you messaged a day at the start, but I knew, based on what you told me, I knew it would be a number that would seem obscene to most people. But again, it's just a direct reflection of that faith you had in yourself to be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
Tell me yes, tell me no, I gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have that urgency around what you're doing too. I think that's something else that we can easily lack. And again, it comes back to this: people don't want to sound salesman-y, but like you said, you only sound salesman-y when you're trying to convince somebody to buy something, and then it would be that you didn't have value for it yourself. We have to create a solution that we find value in ourselves, that we know has affected and changed our lives, just as you guys have done. And then you offer that same solution to other people as if it were your own problem. And when you do that, you're not coming at it from a salesman perspective, you're coming at it from a service perspective. Like, I'm trying to help you. I want to get you out of GameStop. I want to get you to living the life of your dream. You've created that ideal version of yourselves, and now you're giving that to others. And I think that's the most beautiful form of economics that could ever exist.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been phenomenal. There has been so much good, actionable material in this episode. Probably one of the most actionable episodes we've ever done, that people can take the lessons from this right now and start putting it into their practice on their Skool community or their business today. Is there anything else you guys want to leave people with? Just tips, tools, tricks you guys have learned along the way? Any last bits of wisdom?
Yeah, we are super extreme, radical versions of affiliate marketing and making money online. You don't have to message 700 people a day, make $3,000 and travel the world. You could message 10 people a day in your free time, and throughout the course of a year, you might make 500, 600 monthly affiliate. You could pay your car note. Like, shout out to the people like Sean. He's a teacher. He teaches other people just to make a little bit of, change on the side. So you don't have to use it and travel the world. But in 2026, 2027, if you are not utilizing the tool of the internet to print cash, you're going to fall behind. And put down the newspaper, guy. This is new. Start earning money online. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just at least learn how to do it. And yeah, thank you so much for having us on, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a great chat, guys. So just as a recap for everybody, if you want to check out and learn more about what Harold and Skyla are doing, that top link in the description will be for their community, Unemployed Abroad. It's free. So just jump on there, see what it's about, see what people are doing on there, see where Harold and Skyla are in their global tour that they're doing before 2027. So check out what they're doing. And if you guys want to live a lifestyle like they're living, where you get to experience exotic places all around the world, jump on, make that one time or that couple time payment to them, and learn how to exactly do it in your own life. And then you will be able to earn money from the beautiful beaches of Guatemala or Thailand or wherever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, one last thing I meant to ask you guys. For somebody who's just getting into this brand new, what would you think the top first country recommendation you would recommend to somebody to go visit that's cheap and accessible and a great place to start for people?
Honestly, I wouldn't have chosen any other way. I think Vietnam was perfect. It was cheap. There's so much to see in such a small country: beaches, cities, mountain ranges, villages, and everything. I would say Vietnam, Thailand, maybe. Any Southeast Asian or Central South America would probably be the best bet to start on a cheaper lifestyle, but you're still living your life to the fullest. But I actually made a 90-day Vietnam itinerary for everyone in our community that's there, like step by step how to work your way from South Vietnam all the way to North, all the way back to Central. So just tips and tricks, like places we stayed, places we ate, and activities we did, and everything like that.
And we spent under $1,000 a month.
Under $1,000 a month, yeah. So less than an apartment in the U.S.
Yeah,
Less,
that's
yeah.
amazing. Because
Yeah.
you can't hardly find an apartment in the U.S. for less than $1,000 a month
Oh,
anymore.
God. Not anymore, no. Yeah.
And when you can travel, I mean, even if you guys don't want to do this the rest of your life, you guys listening, you can just spend a month in Vietnam for $1,000 and you're,
Exactly.
you got
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, jump in their community, check out that Vietnam itinerary, and see how you can. You don't have to limit yourself. You don't have to limit your life. You have things accessible to you beyond what you could possibly imagine. We all have potential far beyond anything we would allow ourselves to believe. That's the mission of everything we do with Impossible Performance. And that's exactly what Harold and Skyla are helping people do in real time while earning money and visiting the places of their dreams. So thank you guys for being here today. Appreciate everybody for listening. As always, the only thing that I ask of you guys is that if you know anybody that you think this episode would help, you guys listening, if you know anybody you think this episode would help, please scroll down, copy that link, put it in a text message, email, social media post, and send it to as many people as you know whom you believe would be interested or could benefit from this, because this is how we do everything we're striving for at the end of the day at Impossible Performance. This is how we help collectively change lives and build the individual first, that then builds the outcome of your dreams. So thank you guys for listening, and as always, be impossible.